and jump in. And kind of thinking about it this way is, first and foremost, what has AI been good for? And we could, this list could go on and on and on. I just kind of put it into three categories this morning about, and these have been kind of our conversations the last couple of weeks in this setting. I know you guys have been working on some of this on your own, but I've really leaned in on the AI side and really used this idea as a thought partner. Just going in and being inquisitive. Man, I'm trying to solve a problem here. And it really helps me think through what questions I should be asking, kind of going deeper and deeper. Oh, but it reminds me, I got one tip. I got a great pro tip. You're going to want to write this one down and remember this one. Challenge your thought partner, challenge your machine to think deeper. Here's what I got from a guy I was recently with. He was working on a project, and he said, well, let's just take we'll use an example. I forget exactly what his example was, but I'll use the example that I'm going to put together some market data for home sales in El Dorado Hills for the third quarter of 2025. So I go to the machine and say, please run me some market stats for the third quarter home sales in El Dorado Hills. I want to know about inventory, days on market, average sales price. So I just specific, but relatively general. And it came back with this information. I said, this is really good, but I'm presenting this to the most important person in El Dorado Hills. It's really important that I impress this person with my knowledge about El Dorado Hills and all the things. Would you like to revise what you've provided me and give me a better version of this? And it's like, that's a great thing, Scott. Yes, let me do that for you. And it came back with a way more in-depth, more detail, more stats than what the first go around went. What happens is this is the way it was described to me, is that when you ask a question, it takes compute power, it takes energy, it takes electricity for it to run its search. And the more basic the search, the less energy it uses. So it's going to go to just giving the easiest answer using the less energy that it possibly can. But when you challenge it to think deeper, it will do that. It will take more time. It will take more energy, but you will get a deeper result. So just something to think about in there. Ask it to go deeper for you by, hey, I'm trying to impress a really important client. I'm trying to impress the president of the United States. I'm trying to impress fill in the blank, and it will up the ante on the content it's providing. I get through points of the day and days of the week where my creativity gets to a low level. AI has been great for helping me with that. Blog posts and social media calendars and MLS descriptions and whatnot. And I just already mentioned the research assistant. I don't know, you guys, I'm sure this is just a short list. I'm sure you all have other things that you're using it for. But here's what, Rick, you can take yourself off if you want to say something. I can't undo you. You got to come in as panelists, and I'm not smart enough to know how to let you in.
Trying to add him in right now. Give me just a sec.
And as you're doing that, but here's what I wanted to say that AI is not. I know it's like the cat out of the bag earlier, but it's just not you. And I think that the way that we cement ourselves and we keep ourselves in position with our customers, with our clients, with our sphere of influence, with our databases, in order for us to keep our jobs and our relevancy in the real estate space, we can't allow it to replace the personal element that each one of you professionals brings to the table. We all bring something unique. Padma's personality is different than Steve's personality, and Steve's personality is different than Monique's personality. We all bring a different perspective to real estate. And those are the things that make us irreplaceable, as long as we still remain to be human. See, if we lean just too far into the machine and let the machine do all the work, we lose our voice. And if we lean into the machine too hard and we let it become our voice, then our clients won't recognize us anymore. They won't go to us for the information. They won't come to us with the questions. They'll default to just doing some either research on their own to find a real estate agent. They will find the one that shows up first in the search. If we don't continue to be human beings, there may be a way in the future that's beyond my thought capacity today on where the individual real estate agent either it gets taken out of the equation altogether, or we're replaced with more of a functionary duty and not a fiduciary responsibility anymore. So what I wanted to walk through this morning was really how to make sure that you, the individual you, your personality, your charm, your wit, your intelligence is still keeping you in mind with the clients in which you would choose to serve. And I kind of just put it into these buckets. And I would encourage everybody to take a screenshot on this one. We will post these over to the Coffee with Scott Facebook page afterwards, along with this recording. But we are in a time of year right now, as we head into the holidays, into Halloween, which isn't a holiday, but into Halloween, into Thanksgiving, into Christmas. We're heading into a time of year where it is a lot easier to be making communication and by running into people, and people, at least right now, they're not too stressed about the holidays. They may be willing to slow down and have a conversation. So here's what I'm going to encourage everybody to go through today is kind of to take a look at these 5 bullet points on the screen and start to consider how you can apply this into each one of your businesses. So first and foremost, where do you find opportunities that if you're intentional about it, you can have face-to-face meetings? Where is it throughout the course of your week that you can have an opportunity to be right in front of somebody that's inside of your database? Now, this could be as simple as inviting someone to go grab a cup of coffee at World Traveler, as long as you don't want to use Wi-Fi. Thanks for the smile, Laura. This could be going on a listing appointment or a buyer presentation. I've been talking to our team a lot recently about it's just about having appointments. It's about being face-to-face and belly-to-belly with your folks. Sometimes it's just going for a walk with a group of moms or the people that you hang with. And sometimes it's actually in an environment where they can sign a contract to hire you for your professional services. But that intentionality about every week setting a goal to how many face-to-face meetings can I have in either a social or professional setting. The second thing that came to mind is we're at a time of year. This happens really throughout the year, but it's magnified right now, where we have the opportunity to be dropping off some pop-by gifts or by hosting a client appreciation party. So whether it's a goodie bag right now that's Halloween themed, I know a lot of people will do pumpkin pies at Thanksgiving. It has become our tradition over the last couple of years to do wreaths for people, or to use really, really pretty wreaths that we get to pick up in Apple Hill. The cost of a wreath is about the same as the cost of an apple pie or a pumpkin pie, within a couple of bucks. What I love about the wreath is that it sits on they're beautiful, but they sit on the recipient's door for 4 or 5 weeks, maybe even longer. I have seen some dead wreaths out there. Some of these wreaths hang on people's door for 2 or 3 months, but that's really because the person is lazy, is not paying attention. But what I love about the wreath is it has more longevity. The pie is going to get consumed in a day. The wreath's going to hang out with them for a month or so. Laura, what are we paying for those wreaths roughly?
$12 or $13.
Okay, perfect. So for your top clients, for your best referral sources, the people that make the most impact on either your personal life or professional life, right? It's a great opportunity to host some sort of a larger scale client appreciation party if you would choose to. Those things have costs. The pop-by gifts and the client appreciation party, unless you're getting a sponsor to come alongside of you, they have some costs associated with them. But the next one does not. Letting your clients hear your voice. The lost art of just the phone call and the personal touch of just picking up the phone to talk to people. All too often, I'm chief in line for guilt on this one, is just relying on electronic communication. I don't know about you all, but I barely even check email anymore. Email is not a way to communicate with almost the entire population. Text messages are a great way to convey a thought, but it's no way to build rapport. It's no way to really let someone know what your voice sounds like, what's going on in your life. And this is that time of year where it's really super simple to make phone calls, just as that check-in on holiday plans. We're moving into the season right now where people are making where they're starting to hang out with their families. And when they're hanging out with their families, inevitably the conversation starts thinking about what are you going to be doing in 2026? And some of those people are talking about their kids going off to college. Some of those people are talking about the vacation they may be taking. And some of those people are going to be talking about their real estate plans are for 2026. And so by making phone calls during the month, all throughout the year, but because we're where we sit right now, specifically right now as we lead into the holidays, this is that opportunity for you to be top of mind with these folks. So that as when they're talking to their friends and their family over the holidays and real estate comes up, they think about you before they think about somebody else. This is top of mind, by the way. That's what this means. That doesn't mean I have 3 hairs. This means top of mind. But they need to be hearing your voice early so that when real estate conversations come up, they're thinking about you and not somebody else. I actually saw a script yesterday that went something like this. It said something like, I know that we're moving into a time of year where plans are being made, and I want to make sure that I'm setting time aside for my best people. So I was curious, are you going to have any real estate needs between now and the end of the year? So the key in that phrase was I'm setting aside some time for my best people. And so I just want to know if you have any real estate needs that you're going to need my help with over the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Really easy icebreaker into a conversation. You're acknowledging that this is someone who you care about. You're acknowledging that they're one of your top people, however you would do that. And letting them know, hey, I want to set aside time for you. What can I be helping you with? Maybe you get a hit on that. Maybe they say, oh, no, we're good. I say, great. Well, you may come across somebody else. You may come across somebody else as you're going to your Thanksgiving celebration, your Halloween party. And if they need help, I'm here as well. So I popped into the chat here real fast. Yeah, Mike, you can always find me at World Traveler, or most days you can find me over there but we can get that on the calendar. Andrew, on the pop-by with do you pop-by with a hanger that goes with the wreath? They do not. The wreath is just simply that. It is decorated. It has a little ribbon that goes through it and some additional pine cones that are on it, but they hang it on their own. And yes, Rick, I understand that it's not a script. It's a conversation framework, but that's fine. You're not allowed to correct me in my own conversation. Okay. But all that being said, let them hear your voice. Our system is with what amounts to about my top 200 in my database. I'm committed to calling them all on a quarterly basis. And there's some of those people on that list. In fact, it's sitting right here. Laura, sitting right here. That list is right here. There's check marks next to their names. I can't prove it to you because it looks weird on the screen. But every week I got to be making those phone calls so that I stay top of mind. So let's keep on going down the list. Here's the other things. that AI is not, it's not an open house host. Until the robots show up, they're not going to be knocking on doors on your behalf. So we have at least another 6 months before that happens, right? I just talked about working down at World Traveler. Like working out in public is a thing. Work out, take your computer if you have the opportunity, and go hang out in the cafe at the gym, or just be at the gym. Here's the other thing at the gym. I actually want to tell 2 stories about the gym real fast. One is maybe if you're somebody like Steve Rath, I know you go to the gym 7 days a week, and you probably have your big headphones on the whole time that you're in the gym because you're just there to pump iron and break a sweat. Consider a couple days a week not having headphones in. I noticed walking around the gym the other day how almost like 90%, like such a high percentage of people have headphones in. What if you actually just took the earbuds out for the day and struck a conversation with somebody? Probably not mid pump, not like mid like bench press. You probably don't want to start talking to them when they've got a rack of weights in their hand. But there's that. This last weekend on Saturday, Jen was out of town, and I had some work to do, and I'm like, well, I could sit here at the kitchen table and do this, or I could sit at the cafe at Lifetime. Yeah, I've been a Lifetime recently. They redid. They have a really cool workspace over there now. And I went over there with the intention of finishing a book and then taking some journaling notes around it. And sitting there, it was on a Saturday afternoon, low impact, not a busy time at the gym. A friend of mine walked by, Nate, and I hadn't seen him for a while. We go to church together. We've been on mission trips together. Firefighter lives here in El Dorado Hills. And he saw me sitting there. He stopped. He talked for like 10 minutes, just kind of catching up on the kids, finding out what his kids are doing and kind of what the plans are and all of that. Had a great conversation. He went on and went to go do his workout upstairs. I've never gotten a referral from Nate. We've talked about real estate, but never received a referral from him. Never earned an opportunity from him over the years. Yesterday afternoon, I get a text. Hey, Scott, new guy just joined the fire station, and he wants to buy his first house. He's looking at buying either a duplex or a triplex because he wants to live in one and rent out the others. I gave him your name and number. Had I not been at the gym, had I not been working in public, I would have had this fantastic connection with a friend of mine, number one. But 2, business showed up as a result of it. So I had a great conversation with this young kid yesterday. He's 27 years old, never owned a home, renting an apartment right now. And he said, Scott, I'm in. He's a firefighter, so he's used to like following a plan, used to following a play. And he's telling me, he said, Scott, I really want to do this. The only challenge is I just bought a Camaro. I said, that's okay, Nick. We'll work around that. He goes, but I got to do this. Like, if you tell me what to do, I'll do it. If I got to work overtime, if I got to do this thing or that thing, if you got to tell me how much money I got to save, I'm super motivated. You tell me the plan and I will do it. I said, you're going to follow the plan, I'm sorry, Nick. Yeah. I'm going to follow the plan. I said, awesome. You're going to follow the plan. Yep, I'm in. I said, cool. Go sell your Camaro. And he said, no, I'm not going to follow the plan. I don't want to do that, but I'll do whatever else you ask me to do. Right. My whole point in all of that is put yourself out there in public where someone might run into you. You know, wherever it is that you do life, at the gym, at church, the sidelines of your kids' sporting events. The last one I put on the list, this is for us introverts out there in the world, is there's an opportunity that probably along the way in the next couple of weeks, you're going to get invited to go to a party. Could be a Halloween party, could be a birthday party, Thanksgiving, something. But there may be a little voice, if you're like me, in the back of my head saying, I'm not going to know anybody there. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm tired. Today's my day off. But maybe step out of your comfort zone and go attend that party you might not otherwise attend. so that you can, again, be visible in your community. One, just to support whoever's having the party and be nice. But you gotta think that on every time that you have a conversation with somebody, it may lead to a real estate sale at some point in your future. These are all the things that AI, at least as of today, cannot replace for what you bring to the table. So my question always is, then what are you going to do with it? And I just gave a couple of suggestions on here. And you guys can come up with your own. But it's always my hope that if when we have this conversation on Wednesday mornings, if I said something that resonated with you in this call, that you actually go take action on that item. So maybe it's one of these that I threw up here on the board. Maybe you can commit to a call list. Here's how I would think about that one. How many people are you willing to call on a daily basis? You know, once upon a time, my coach, when I was running the KW Roseville office, and we were talking about trying to attract new agents to the brokerage, he said, "Scott, can you commit to 20 calls a day?" And I said, "Absolutely not." He said, "Can you commit to 10 calls a day?" I said, "Nope, that still seems too big of an ask, Tim." He said, "Could you commit to 1 call a day?" I said, "Tim, I can commit to 1." And I started with 1 and then built a new muscle around it. But maybe what you need to do is just start picking up the phone and committing to a call list of the people that you would call your friends, your sphere of influence, your best referral sources, past clients, whatever it happens to be. But how many calls can you commit to on a daily or weekly basis? Maybe the next one is, you've got this next kind of 10 weeks. Well, not even that. Shoot, yeah, a little bit less than 10 weeks between now and Christmas. Great opportunity to host some sort of an event or figure out a pop-by gift that you could drop off at a certain number of your clients' houses. Again, maybe it's a situation where you host a pie event, then everyone comes to the office to pick up the pie from you, or it's just the inverse. You buy the bunch of pies and you go drive around and drop them off, or it's the wreaths, or it's a little goodie bag of candy, or fill in the blank, whatever your budget would allow for. Again, that one costs a few bucks. Or maybe it's the last one. Just figure out a place where you can work in public. At a coffee shop, at a restaurant, at a bar, at the gym. And if you're going to do that, my suggestion would be, don't have the headphones in there. Keep your eyes open. Oh, the other thing about, by the way, on that same story on Lifetime this weekend, the guy sitting one table in front of me was a real estate investor talking about his goal. I was just eavesdropping because one of his buddies stopped by, talking about that he has the intention of buying a bunch of rental properties this year. So there was another connection, right? Just by having your ears tuned in to what's going on, you may find some business. So I would hope that if you got something from today's call, that you would take action on one of these 3 type of ideas or something else. So if anyone is so bold, throw in the chat what you're willing to do. How many calls are you willing to make? Will you commit to a client event or a pop-by gift? Will you take some of your work hours and work in public, starting this week, and then being consistent with that as we go forward? And then lastly, it's just that reminder about every week what we do here. So if you get value, if you guys are getting value from this, what I really love is that this group continues to grow every week. We have new faces come in every week. We get new people sharing things in the chat. I get texts throughout the week. So I really appreciate your guys' support on this conversation, and I hope you're getting value from it. If you are, invite someone to come alongside you. Give them this link, this Coffee with Scott net link, have them come join us on a Wednesday morning. I make the ask every week. If you haven't yet, go over to our Facebook group, Coffee with Scott, and just hit the follow button. We're in the process of growing that group. I want to be able to broadcast over to that site, and I've got to get a few more followers on there in order to cross that threshold so that we can post this content directly there in real time. And guys, I just hope that through this, you just feel encouraged to go out there and get the business. You know, we are in goal planning season. We're rounding out the end of 2025. For some of us, it has been a fantastic year. And for some of us, it's been a year of struggle. My word of encouragement is there are people out there right now that need your help. They just don't know that you care. They just don't know that you're available. We're seeing people every weekend that still have a home to sell. We're seeing every week where someone just entered the market thinking about buying a property. The business is there, guys. We just got to put ourselves in front of it. And by going through these last bullet points, I think that gives you a great opportunity to get a few more checks before this year ends. And for sure, it's a great opportunity to fill your pipeline as we run into 2026. So I appreciate you all. Keep coming back every Wednesday. We'll see you next week. Signing off.